Welcome back to Out of the Rough, Association of Women Entrepreneurs Edition. Tera, McHugh, please introduce Rhona Berens.
Rhona Berens of Parent Alliance. She is a parent advocate, relationship coach, and she actually is a mom of two. She's very passionate about helping parents stay sane and stay together. And she's also on the advisory board for the Children's Project.
Well, Children's Project, tell me about, I love charities, I love the good work that they do. What is the Children's Project?
Children's Project is a really wonderful nonprofit that was created by Gerald Newmark and his wife Deborah. And Gerald is the author of How to Raise Emotionally Healthy Children, which is a wonderful book. And the Children's Project focus is really how to get this incredible book, which is a parenting guide on really how to raise our kids in a way that they are happy, functioning, well-adjusted adults, children and then adults in our society. And what they do at the Children's Project is they basically give away the book to as many parents and teachers and community advocates as possible. And then they do training, like I say, we do training, and lectures on how to help parents and teachers really learn the tools and basically what Jerry refers to as the 5 critical needs of children.
Tera, we all have children. And I love what you say about raising emotionally healthy children, because sometimes we forget the emotional side, the peer pressures and everything that's involved. And that's really impactful, the emotional side, isn't it?
Very much so, and that's really Gerald Newmark's real focus. And for him, he really sees 5 critical emotional needs for kids. And those needs are to feel respected, to feel important, to feel accepted, to feel included, and to feel secure. Yeah. And he really teaches parents and teachers and anyone who works with kids how to really help cultivate that. What's been so inspiring for me and interesting to me about this work is that my focus is on the parents. And I found that those 5 critical needs actually are applicable to parents too. How do we raise ourselves as emotionally healthy parents? So for me, I feel that kind of work of focusing on the kids and focusing on parents and parents' relationships really, really goes hand in hand.
Good stuff.
It's really important that parents stay connected for the children, right?
Really important that parents stay connected for the children. I think it's a bit of a cliche that I think as we parent, it's hard to stay connected to each other. And there's a stat that I think it's kind of overwhelming, but speaks really well, I think, to parents' experiences. After the birth of our first child, our alone time with each other as spouses is diminished by 2/3. We only have 1/3 of the alone time that we used to have together. And that 1/3 time now, part of it's devoted to talking about the kids. Add more kids to the equation, and that time together is further diminished. No wonder it's hard to stay connected, but incredibly important to stay connected. Important for us individually, our personal happiness is very much connected to our relationship satisfaction. Also important to our children's development. We have a lot of focus in our culture on how to parent really well. What we don't talk about is that actually being really high functioning in our relationship with each other, being in a satisfied relationship with each other, helps us co-parent really well. And that has a really, really positive developmental impact on our kids. Plus, we're the ones modeling relationships for our kids. So if we're not putting the energy and effort into staying connected with each other, our kids aren't learning how to do it.
Yeah, you're the example. You're the example. Let's talk about parents staying connected. Yeah. What are some of the tips you can give, just some quick tips that parents can do to stay connected to each other so that the children can see that?
Yeah. Well, a couple of quick tips, and then I have a little bit of a longer one, but can be applied to a lot of things. So a couple of quick tips. One is, let's say both parents work outside the home or one parent works outside the home. Whenever that parent or those parents come home, that there be an effort not just to greet the kids, but to actually really just take a moment and to greet each other. To not have that be a kind of, maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't happen. To really make a commitment just to spend a moment looking at each other in the eye and saying hi, kissing each other, whatever works for you as a couple, but to really just pause. We do it really quickly with our kids, right? We say hi to our kids, we connect with our kids, how was your day? We often forget to do it with each other. So that's one quick tip. Another one is what to do at the dinner table. I find that very often parents get separated at the dinner table by our kids. We're at one end of the table, we're at opposite sides of the table. Practice every once in a while actually sitting next to each other and put the kids somewhere else. opposite you or on other sides of the table so that you're near each other.
Yeah, that's hard to do with my 8-year-old. She wants to sit between us and sit between both of us. Not just separate us because she loves both of us.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes that can be a challenge.
It can be a challenge, and I think one of the most important things we can do as parents is to at once respect our kids' interests and our kids' desires, and also then help them learn how to respect our own. To say that, you know what, tonight, honey, Mommy and Daddy are going to sit next to each other at the table because Mommy and Daddy's relationship together is also really important. And sometimes we miss sitting next to each other, so we would love it tonight we're going to sit next to each other.
Every once in a while to do that.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Wow. And the third tip?
So the third one's a bigger one. It's what I call the 10% rule. Very often when we talk about really reconnecting with our spouses, or if we feel like we've had a really diminished connection with each other, we tend to get into override mode. We've got to do something really big to reconnect with each other. We have to go on that spectacular date night. It's got to last for hours, be really sexy, so that when we get home, things will also be really sexy, right? So it's that kind of pressure.
That's what I'm talking about.
What I advocate is that we think about it instead of going for that 100%, where we have a lot of pressure on ourselves and on each other in terms of what we plan and what the results are, right? If you put 100% effort in it, you better feel 100% connected. Well, if we're feeling disconnected, it's a lot of pressure. So the 10% rule is think about doing 10% of your big plan. So instead of figuring out that huge date night, maybe, you know, after the kids go to sleep, open a bottle of wine and sit down at the kitchen table, at the dining room table, on the living room couch, wherever, and just hang for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Do it because it's doable. You will succeed at it.
That's great.
It will increase your connection, maybe a lot, maybe a little bit, but it took a little bit of effort. So if it took a little bit of effort and you reconnected a little bit more, you'll do something like that again.
Yeah. If both of you only go 49%, then and you're both 1% short, then the relationship could fail. And so it's important to always give it your all, no doubt, no doubt.
It's important to model for your model that for your kids. That's great. I love that.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so do we want to talk a little bit more about the emotionalhealthychildren.org?
Sure.
The Children's Project. How does somebody find out more about that?
Excellent. We got about 30 seconds to talk about
Go
that.
to emotionallyhealthychildren.org, and if you're interested in learning more about their great resources, you can click on the Children's Project, which is the nonprofit part, and you can find out more about the great work of Gerald Newmark, about having him come to your school, or his advocates like myself coming to your school, working with your community organization, and really getting the books into the hands of parents and teachers and community advocates who work with the kids to really help kids, you know, become much more emotionally healthy.
Good stuff. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing about the Children's Project and all the great tips you gave. Certainly a wealth of information.
And she also has Parent Alliance.
Yes. Parentsalliance.com. And if those who want to email you or reach you, how do they reach you?
Rhona at parentalliance.com, and Rhona's R-H-O-N-A.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Enjoy this hour of the WE edition.
This was great. It was fun.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you, Rhona.
Well, I hope you enjoy this edition of Out of the Rough. If you'd like to watch this online, please feel free to go to www.scvtv.com or fredarnold.com. If you'd like to shoot us an email, you can email me, Fred at fredarnold.com, or
AofWe.com or Tera at AofWe.com.
Tera at AofWe.com. Well, I hope this information helps get you out of the rough and into success, both personally and professionally. Have a great day. Thank you.